Welcome everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill of Scrap Me Quick Designs, and today's project tutorial is going to be about using the new Cricut Maker Basic Perforation Blade, and we're going to be making our own custom gift card holder with a pull tab in the back so that your recipient can pull that and be able to get a gift card out of your custom holder that you make. So it's a lot of fun. The basic perforation blade. The blade is a rotary blade, so it comes in its own plastic housing. So you do want to store it in this so that your perforation blade doesn't cut anything else. It's very sharp, so be careful with it. And then you have to have a quick swap housing, okay? Now, how do you know if you have this? If you have the Cricut Maker, you received a rotary blade tool with your Cricut Maker. It is not as quick swap housing. It looks like this. It has a plastic housing on it, cover on the top, but the top of it does not have this little silver plunger on it, okay? So you have to have the quick swap housing. And so if you haven't purchased the Cricut Maker tools yet, the extra ones that just came out, you'll want to make sure that you get at least one of them with this quick swap housing, because that's how you use the new tools. I'm going to have the perforation blade in the plastic housing that it comes in. I'm going to push the plunger down on the quick swap housing, and I'm just going to slide this right in and then release it. Okay. Once I've done that, I pull this cap off. Now make sure you keep the cap, because the cap, you're going to need to replace that back on the tool after you're through using it. And now we're ready to put it into our Cricut Maker machine and make a project with it. We'll need some cardstock if you want to make the project along with me. I am going to show you in Design Space exactly how to make this, and then also we're going to put the card together so you know how that process goes. So you'll need some cardstock, some pattern paper, you'll need a sheet of white cardstock, and you will need Cricut Maker pen that came with your Cricut Maker machine. That's a black one. You'll need those, and then of course your Cricut Maker, and some adhesive. Now you can use a tape runner to put your cardstock on the front of your card. But for us to secure the two pieces together, we need to have a double-sided sticky tape. I prefer the Score Tape brand. I'll link this up in the description of the video for you as well. But we want to make sure that the front and back of this card, when we secure it together and our gift card goes on this side, that this will stay together. Let's get started. So here we are over in Design Space, and I'm going to show you exactly how I made that pull tab that I showed you. So as you can see here, here is my gift card front that I've already made, and then this is the back, okay, just like I showed you, but I'm going to show you how do you make this. So I'm starting with a 4 1/4 high by 5 1/2 inch wide card base. Okay, so this is just going to be a piece of cardstock Cricut's going to cut out for me, but this is the piece that's going to be on the back of the card. So this is where I'm going to put the pull tab. So I'm going to come over here into shapes, and I'm going to grab the square, and the square I want to make it, I'm going to unlink it, and then I'm going to change it so the width of that square is only going to be 1/2 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to move this so that I have my card here lined up along the edge of the grid, and I'm going to count over 2 inches. So there's 1, there's 2, and then I want this pull tab to run, the right hand side of it to run 2 inches in. Okay, so that's why I have it positioned that way, because over here we're leaving room to put our gift card. Then I'm just going to pull this down, and I may move it just a little bit higher. So now once I have this, then I'm going to come over here to line type in my top menu, and where the little drop down is, I'm going to click on that, and now I see that I have the different Cricut cut types that I'm able to use. So I'm going to click perforation right here, and now it's changed it to the perforation tool is going to cut that. I also need to attach this to my card so it knows that that's where it's going to be cutting it exactly where I want it. So I've highlighted it. I'm going to hit Control and then right click it, and then down here in your layers panel on the bottom you have the word attach. So you want to attach it. So now it's part of that card. Okay, when it goes to cut out, it's going to cut out exactly where we want it to cut. Okay, now I want to add the word pull to it, so I'm going to do I'm just going to type pull in. Okay, I'm just going to make it small. But I want to go ahead and I want to move the letters out a little bit further from each other because those two L's look a little too close to me. So up here in line spacing, and you have letter spacing. So we're going to go to letter spacing, and you're going to just increase the letter spacing. I'm just clicking on it so it's moving it out so that those two L's will separate a little bit. I just want to make sure it has enough space that when the Cricut pen writes it, you're going to be able to clearly see what it says. That's why we're doing this step. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it up here, just grabbing it with my cursor, and then I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to make it smaller by just grabbing the little handle there. Okay, I'm going to take the word and I'm going to move it exactly where I want it. Now, when I put it on my pull tab, I want it to be within the lines, and I want it to be a little bit down from the top of the pull tab, okay? Then I'm going to take it, I'm going to click on this, I'm going to use my Control Shift key, click on the background here. I'm going to right click on that, and now my attach is available to me again. So I'm going to hit attach, and now everything is attached to this card. So this is going to be, it's going to write this onto my card, and then it will create the tab. So we're going to watch that process here in just a second. Okay, so now that we have designed our pull tab, now we need to cut it out. So what you see here is I have just the blue Cricut mat. I have a piece of white cardstock. This is the piece that we're going to be making that goes on the back of the gift card. Okay, so you will need to have your Cricut pen, and this is just the fine tip black pen is what I'm using, and I'm just going to take the cap off. Your accessory side is always the A side, so I'm going to open that up. There's a little holder here. You're going to take your pen with the little gray arrow, and you're going to hold the bottom of this and push your pen in until you hear it click, and then you're going to close that door. So that's going to be your pen. Design Space will prompt you to add your pen, so in case you forget, it will remind you, which I love. And then, of course, you're going to need your basic perforation blade and the quick swap drive. So this is the plunger. This is the quick drive housing. We've already inserted this into the tool. I showed you that earlier, but you would just then pull the cap off, okay, and you want to set that off to the side. Now this is going to go in your B side of your housing. So your B side is where your fine tip blade is normally there, but when you're working with any of the specialty blades are going to cut first. So it's okay to go ahead and put your specialty blade in your adaptive tool system. Now remember, there's gears across the back here, and there's a clear plastic cap that goes around the front. That is the way it's supposed to be. Don't take that off. And you're going to line those gears up here inside the machine, lay it into the holder, close this, and close that up just like that. And now we're ready to get started. What the Cricut's going to do is it will go over, and it's going to identify that it has the appropriate tool in it, okay? And it's why I wanted to show you this part of the process, because it does take a minute for it to recognize that. And then it's going to go through, and it always writes first, then it cuts with the specialty blade, then it cuts with the fine tip blade. Okay, so that's why I want to show you all this whole process. Now it's going over and it's checking. It is perfectly fine that it's done this and moved all the way over, and you'll hear it spinning and see it looking. That's it checking to make sure that it is the perforation blade in there. If for some reason you forgot to put it in there, your Design Space will pop up and say, hey, put the perforation blade in. So it's kind of, Cricut's kind of helped that be a little foolproof for us. Now you see that the arrow that is flashing over here on the Design Space screen, it's going to be telling you now install your fine tip blade. So I'm going to open this up, set this off to the side. I'm going to take my fine tip blade, put it back in the housing just like this, and then I'm going to click the flashing head, and now it's going to cut out the shape of the card. Now I like to go ahead and, before I forget, take my Cricut pen out and put my cap back on. I also want to make sure I take my blade housing and I'm going to put my cap back on this, and it just slides right in. And now I'm able to take my piece off here that has my perforation in it. Now we're going to get started with putting the card together. So now that we have our shape created in Design Space and we cut it out and wrote on it with the Cricut Maker, and we used our Cricut Perforation Blade to make the perforations for our pull tab. Okay, then all you have to do is decide what you want your card to look like. So I've already created a sentiment. It just says a gift for you. This is a shape that's in Design Space, and I already used my little Cricut tweezers and some dual action glue to already adhere that. So you'll have some kind of sentiment that you want on your card. Then you will have, this is going to be the back of our card, all right, and then you have a front of your card and some type of decoration, however you want to decorate your card. Now for this, I'm using a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base size. I cut a second piece of the white cardstock just because I want to make sure it's pretty sturdy. So I'm going to just adhere this top piece, which will be the decorative front of my card. I'm just going to attach it to that piece. I'm just going to line these up here. And all I'm doing right now is I'm creating the decorative front of my card. Okay, so I've got that done, and then I'm going to use this cute little Echo Park Happy Birthday paper piece as a decorative element on my card. So I've already cut that with my Cricut. And this is just a 2 inch by 4 1/4 inch piece. And of course you could use any paper that you have on hand that fits your occasion. Okay, so I've added that on the front, and then I'm going to put my sentiment onto my card. So okay, now there is the front of my gift card holder. And then I have my pull tab piece that I created. I'm going to flip this over. Okay, and then I'm going to take whatever gift card I'm going to be using, and I want to put it here. And then I typically am going to have a pencil or something that just gives me a visual aid of where my card's going to be. And I want to make sure that I have plenty of space, not close to my pull tab here. But your card's going to be sitting here. So what you want to do is you want to take some double-sided sticky tape, and we're going to actually adhere our card together, the back to the front. I want to make sure that this is all within, not touching that score line, the perforation line rather. Okay, so now that I've got this on there, I have my pull tab piece here, and then I want to flip this over, and I'm going to go ahead and just gently punch out just the very edge of this so that it's obvious that it's a pull. Okay, so I just bent my card a little bit and then just popped just the very edge of that. This is where it wrote pull with the Cricut pen. Okay, so your recipient will know to do that. You could also add your sentiment onto the back of this if you wanted with your Cricut pens and attach that so it would write it for you. Then you want to go flip it over, and you're going to take off your sticky tape. I am going to lay my card down. I'm going to put my gift card that I'm giving my recipient, making sure it's not touching the sticky tape. Okay, and then I'm going to lay my card front on top of this. Careful to line up all the edges. But now I have a gift card holder to give somebody. They will know when they flip it over, it says pull. They're going to be able to pull this tab, and they'll be able to get their gift card out. Isn't that fun? I hope you guys enjoyed this little quick tutorial for you. I hope you really enjoy using your new Cricut Basic Perforation Blade. If you don't have this yet, there's a lot of fun things you can do with it. Stay tuned for more tutorials on this, and I cannot wait to show you what else you can do with this tool.